I'm Elaine Bauer. I have a BA in Fine Art and Family and Child Studies, an MA in Sociology and Anthropology, and I've got my PhD, which I earned at University of London in England in Social Anthropology. I'm a research fellow, senior research fellow at London University, London, specifically London South Bank University, and I also lecture in. I teach, actually. I feed my research into my teaching, so I teach undergraduate all the way to PhD students. My research interests basically covers a wide range of themes to do with international migration. So anything that results from international migration, mixed families, language brokering, which basically language brokering is about children of migrants who interpret and translate for their migrant parents who don't speak the language in the host country. And I also research Caribbean migrants. My first 19 years were spent in Jamaica. So basically, before coming to Canada at the age of 19. So basically, I did my primary school and my secondary schooling in Jamaica. Only very wealthy or middle class Jamaicans had the privilege to go to high school from primary school. And the reason was that you had to have money to sit the entrance exam to get there. So if you were poor, primary school was the end of your education. But anyway, I was very fortunate because it was in the mid-70s when we had the PNP, the People's National Party leader, Michael Manley, who actually introduced the secondary school system. And I was very fortunate to get into that. I was also very lucky to have a principal, Simon Clark, who, in retrospect, we look back and we all think he was a slave driver, but all of us from that generation, for some reason, we progressed and we became professional. Most of us. Anyway, he had this banner carved out, and it was a huge wooden banner, and it was carved out excellence. So that was the motto of the school, excellence. And basically what it meant was that there was nothing less than excellence. You were expected to achieve to the highest level. The premise behind it was, it wasn't even a premise, it was spelt out explicitly. The path to upward social mobility is through education. So if you wanted to achieve and become somebody in society, right, to do well and advance yourself socially, economically, whatever, you had to make sure you follow through the path of education, because there was no such thing as inheritance or anything from poor background. I never struggled to do well. Yes, I struggled in math, and I'll come to that later on. But for everything else, I actually always did well. But I think I had that extra little kind of attention because I didn't have any parents. My mom died when I was 6, and I lived with my grandmother, who died when I was 11. And when she died, I went to live with somebody else. We didn't get on, so I basically went back because she wasn't sending me to school. So I went back into the house where my grandmother and I lived, and I raised myself from I was 12. Sent myself through school. I would do extra jobs to support myself to go through school and so on. So I had a little bit of attention, people watching over me and so on. But anyway, to fast forward, I got through with very good marks to grade 12. I always wanted to be a school teacher. So then basically I applied and got into a primary school where the apprenticeship was for 2 years. I taught for 2 years till I was 19, and then I came to Canada with my then husband. I migrated to Canada.